Hello. It's Tuesday, and you know what that means. It means it's Gt4 night. Welcome to oNiD Racing. This, ladies and gents, is round 5 at Snetterton. Shame I haven't got Jimbo Mancy with me tonight, because we could have talked exactly what Snetterton looked like, but we're not going to do that because he's not here tonight. In fact, he's managed to break his PC, so fingers crossed he will get that sorted. But here we go then, round 5 of 6, Snetterton, for the simrace247.com British GT4 series with their partners HyperX. Thank you to our channel partners as well, simracing.gp, pitwall.live, Caden Computers, and of course, sim-stuff.com. Hello everyone. It is pretty much time for us to get going. I can get rid of the text that says "com starting soon" because here I am. But yes, Hiker, thank you for pointing out exactly that that Snetterton does look a little bit like a penis. In fact, for those of you who have not figured that out before, here's the track map. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you might need to go to the doctors if anyway. But just ever so slightly, of course, tonight we have all of you GT4 guys and girls on track. So right now, not everyone quite with us. We've got 16 in the server. So these are the practice times so far. You can see that, well, especially if I make it full screen, you can definitely see that Ben Brown is fastest at the minute by more than half a second. From Marek Chittle, then Andy Thorpe, Hakan Anderson, Ian Hall, Andy Hearn, Petr Jelinek, Grant Eckett, Dave Zalecki, Willie Black, Johnny Ashley, Eric Sarek, Stefan Locker, Heike van der Veen, Heisenberg Knox, and Cameron Hawes, which, yeah, new name, signed up today, and yeah, just got chucked in at the deep end, I think. So let's see how Cameron gets on. He has raced with us before, so that's one of the reasons why Willie let him in. So let's jump back to the chat. A few of you in this evening. Hiker, of course, with us right from the very beginning. Evening, Hiker. I hope you're good. And Bo Lamberts as well. So I think Bo was here and then is gone. But if you're still listening, Bo, I hope you're good. Dog Juice says, I joined when I heard penis. Yes, that sounds about right for you, Graham. And oh, there was some strange guy called Adam D in the chat as well. Right, oh, Bo, you are listening. Good evening, sir. I hope you're well. Hiker says he's good. oNiD Racing says hello all. So I'm both streaming and somebody's typing under this name. I can only assume that's Mr. Johnny Ashley, possibly. Johnny, if it is you, then you'll notice I've relocated to a new comms box this evening. So. Feel free to pop in at any point if you want. D-Stack on holiday says hola from the Yucatan. Yucatan. What's the Yucatan? I think that's your holiday destination. Anyway, it sounds more glamorous than near Stoke. So yeah, there we go. Simon, good evening, Mr. Extreme Beef. Good evening indeed. I think we're promised some good action tonight. I've got no idea what the weather's going to do. It is a good old British track after all, so frankly anything could happen. But it's a bit overcast in practice. I predict some weather at some point this evening. I mean, obviously there's always weather, but I predict some rain at some point this evening. Yeah, Johnny, I'm with you. Rain, calling it, but I'm not sure what for. Is it going to be rain in quali or rain in the race? What I would love to see is another mixed conditions race like we had in the was it the World Series at Alton Park where we had the mixed conditions? I think it was. That would be fantastic. It's pretty warm out there though. 29 degrees air temperature, 36 degrees track temperature. I don't think Snetterton very often finds it at 29 degrees air temperature, especially when it's this overcast. So, yep, Willie with the settings again. still, at least it's not the 84 degrees centigrade that it was at Paul Ricard that time, because I'm never going to let him forget that. But we are going to have some good racing tonight, and the reason I can guarantee that is that we've had it all season with these boys in the GT4s. You can see them all lined up there in the pits. If you're wondering why they're all sat there in the pits and not out on track, it's because they will currently be listening to the wise Irishman walking them through the driver's briefing. So no doubt they're having a great deal of fun out there. Now, what I can tell you is that we are missing one of the big championship protagonists tonight. So no Alex Shahabi tonight, unfortunately. So really, I think the big championship battle that we've got to watch is between Ben Brown and Ian Hall. So they've stood on the top step, the pair of them. Ben won the first 3 rounds. Ian's had a better last couple of rounds. Ben picked himself up some penalty points from Alton Park as well for that masterful rejoin that we saw live on air. So, you know, anything could happen. Andy Thorpe has been in and amongst it at times throughout the season, there or thereabouts. You can always expect some surprises as well. I mean, Dave Zalecki was kind of on the back foot right from the very beginning of this season, missing the beginning whilst he was still on honeymoon, and then jumping in and having the wrong car and having to relearn a new car. But there have been flashes of real pace from that Mercedes of Dave Zalecki as well, and you just never know what Dave can bring one of these nights as well. And Johnny's already breaking into song. He came in like a wrecking ball. Johnny at turn 1. Yeah, I'm more worried about you at turn 2 when we get on the brakes into the hairpin, to be honest. But let's see. Hopefully we can get through lap 1 nice and clean and calm this evening. But this is Snetterton, so you never know. I think that's Heisenberg Knox heading out onto the track for the last couple of minutes of practice. That must mean that Willie's shut up by now. Whew. It's quite early for him. Yeah, standard Sunbelt livery for that Audi of Heisenberg. You will notice we've got a couple of different liveries this evening. So similar to Sunday night, we've got a couple of the drivers running some nice blue and yellow coloured liveries in support of what's going on around the world right now. So you know, nice touch to see from a bunch of you out there tonight. Please do not click on the link that Noel91X has just posted in chat. I'm sure Johnny will jump on that and do the quick ban hammer for that spam. But whatever you do, don't click on that link, because I'm sure that doesn't actually get you best followers, primes, and viewers. Probably just a hard drive full of viruses. Calgary CZ, I think that is Petr Jelinek, if I remember correctly. Good evening. Yeah, Carl 151. Oh, 151. Yeah, Petr Jelinek. Yeah, see, I'm learning. Mr. Greggles, good evening. Nice to see some of the regulars in tonight. Mr. Prescott, here to watch the GT4 action. So only 30 seconds of free practice to go, and then we get cracking into the real stuff. And oh my god, oNiD Will, who is that? It's a stranger. Stranger danger, everyone. Will McCone is in the chat. But hello, Will. I've seen you popping up over the last couple of days. Good to see you back and around, sir. So, yo, indeed. And Tim, good evening to you, sir, as well. Nice to see you in the chat. It was nice to see you racing the other day as well.
Green light. Go, go, go.
So, there we go. Plenty of you in this evening. And we head into qualifying, and it's dry. So, just goes to show what Johnny and I know. So, maybe it's going to be in the old race where it gets a bit damp. So, we head out into qualifying then, and let's see what these ladies and gents can produce for us tonight. Ben Brown will be looking for a good result. Not sure Mr. Last enjoyed your racing. No comment, Tim. We enjoyed it though. It gave us some drama to watch. But no, good to see you in the chat tonight. Brutus 169. Good evening to you, sir, as well. I say sir, I made an assumption then, and I may have egg on my face, but let's hope not. Ryan Davies, can you get a Van der Veen? I think you just did. Yeah, we will make sure to check in with Hiker tonight, see how he's getting on. But look at this, your two championship protagonists go out onto the circuit, one after each other. It's Ian Hall followed by Ben Brown as they head round to start their qualifying session. So Ryan saying that was worth it. You're saying it was worth it, or I'm worth it, one of the two. But yeah, that was all good. So D-Stack only with the 240p tonight. I'm hoping that that's your connection that sucks and not mine, because otherwise everyone's stuck in 240p. But I'm guessing it's you on holiday with your dodgy beach Wi-Fi. Tell us what you're doing right now. Are you actually chilling on a beach or by the pool, or what are you doing? Jimbo Mancy's here. D-Stack, are you watching on an Etch-a-Sketch? The thoughts of that. That would be fantastic. Right, let's go on board with Ben Brown. This is one of you guys towards the top of the championship. Looking to do it tonight. Oh, D-Stack's sitting on a beach in Mexico. Oh, man. Oh, I'd quite fancy that right about now. Although, I'm not sure about the idea of getting sand in my cast. That would, yeah, that wouldn't be great. Yeah, ping a photo in the oNiD chat so everyone can see just how wonderful your life is right now. Sent a shiver down my spine, the thought of getting sand in my cast. This is Ben Brown coming through, I think that's Hamilton if I remember rightly, that left, before he comes into this hairpin here. Such a tricky corner to get right, that. And, Ben did run a bit wide, but he is up and running on this lap, as is his big championship rival in front of him. But can somebody else steal pole tonight? I don't know. I'm going to put my money on Ben Brown taking pole tonight. I've just got a feeling that he's going to be in good shape. Tricky part of this circuit, and he manages to avoid the mass sausage there, and he now dips into the bomb hole. I knew I'd do that at some point tonight. He did. Yeah. Yeah, so he's through safely now, out of Murray's, and let's see where these first laps put these guys in terms of the time. So Ian Hall goes fastest with a 1:57.8. Ben Brown a full 3/4 of a second slower on that one. But you know, these guys in the GT4s always take a couple of laps to get fired up, because if you've not driven them before, they don't have tyre warmers. So yeah, they head out and need to get temps and pressures in their tyres all by themselves, and sometimes that can take a couple of laps to do. Actually, we're watching Hiker Van der Veen. He's got Johnny Ashley right behind him as well. Brutus 1, Snetterton, nice, my least favourite track. Do you know what? It might be one of my least favourites to drive as well, actually. It's so tricky, that section under the bridge through, is it Brundle, the left-hander? I think. Yeah, Ryan, it was only a matter of time. Do you know what? I was trying really hard not to do it first time around. And I think I tried too hard and, you know, just did it anyway. No, you're right. It didn't take long, Beef. But there we go. Oh, Brutus 1. What's wrong with Barcelona? I love Barcelona. And I can't wait for some of the tracks to be updated in ACC as well. You know, Barcelona's got that nice elongated section now that they introduced for the F1 this year. So it'd be nice to see that come in. I really want to see Zandvoort updated to the banked corners. We are about to see Ben Brown go pole, by the way. He's 9/10 up on his current lap and flashing purple. Just about manages to keep it in limits coming out of Murray's. So this is going to smash it. He is about to go top. There we go. He goes top by just over a 10th, so not a huge amount. Marek Chittle goes third then. Johnny will be pleased at the minute. He's up in... well, he was 7th. He's now 8th. Ian Hall now flashing purple. So looking to steal that pole straight back from Ben Brown this time around. Yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, once Zandvoort updated with the banking and obviously we're going to need an update to Spa as well now that they've butchered Eau Rouge. But also it looks like they've done a load of other stuff to Spa as well, which seems to be more for bikes than cars. Always worries me when they work on a pure car track for the benefit of bikes. It tends to, I mean, look at what they did to Barcelona, adding that chicane in towards the end. You know, so, but I think they're being sensible at Spa. Apart from butchering Eau Rouge, everything else looks okay, and the one corner that has been developed specifically for bikes, they have retained the car corner as well, so they can run the car corner for F1, and the bikes can have the bike corner, I guess. Ian Hall is 2/10 up on this lap. Ben not improving, so Ian has a chance to strike back straight away. In fact, he's 3/10 up at the moment, so this would be a decent return. He'd end up a 10th to 2/10 up on Ben's time. Although Ben is now improving by a 10th, so these two are going to be close tonight. They really are. So Ian does a 57.4 and Ben does a 57.5. They are separated by 82 thousandths of a second. And Andy Thorpe now goes third. So Dog Juice says he's going to replicate D-Stack's beach holiday by opening up a Corona and turning the heating up and wearing some flip-flops. That is almost as a good an image. Thank you for that. And D-Stack with the support for that. And yeah, Ryan, that's the corner I was referring to, actually. The new corner alongside No Name Corner, which I've got a feeling has got a name now, but I can't remember what it is. There we go. So I'll tell you what, Graham, I'll match you. You open your beer. I'm going to open my Capri Sun, like the 37-year-old child that I am. They're good though. Long time since I've had a Capri Sun. And they're good. As Ben sends a tyre stack absolutely flying. Nice to see that one flipping through the air. Dan Hyde has joined us. I wasn't sure if Dan would. Dan hasn't been all that well over the last couple of days. He moved house at the weekend and then he's not been well, but he looks like he's going to soldier on and be with us tonight, so good man. This is Andy Hearn, who's normally a little bit higher up than 12th. But he is 8/10 up on this lap right now. Qualifying is coming to an end, by the way, so these are the last knockings. And unless Ben can do something really no, Ben's in. So that is it. Pole settled by less than a 10th of a second. Now, what you've got here is Andy Hearn a second up on his best time. He's got Dave Zalecki right behind him, who is currently not improving. Just trying to work out where on the track they are. Right, they're on the back section. So Davey's now 10th up on his best, but has to abandon that one. He was getting too close to Andy. Andy clips El Sausage. Dave Zalecki up in 3rd. Johnny is massively outperformed Willie Black tonight by a full 10th and a half. And Willie will be thrilled with having given Cameron a buy into this series, having been pipped to 10th by 5 thousandths of a second by him. Andy Hearn then goes 9th. So that is your grid. I'm trying to show you your grid. So let's get that one working. There it is. So Ian Hall pole from Ben Brown, then Dave Zalecki and Andy Thorpe. Marek Chetil takes pole in silver and he's 5th overall. Then you've got Grant Eckett, Hakan Andersen, Petr Jelinek, Andy Hearn, Johnny Ashley, Cameron Hawes, William Black, Stefan Locker, Eric Sarek, Casey Gould, Heike van der Veen, Heisenberg Knox, and Dan Hyde, who I don't think managed to get a time in during qualifying, but yeah, good to see him. Good to see him. Will, you're absolutely right. Nobody can afford heating these days. So, yeah, maybe just put loads of clothes on and pretend you're on a Mexican beach. That might do it instead. What else we got going on? Tim said, put together a new desk chair. That was enough heating for me. Yeah, that would do for me as well. Trust me on that. Ryan, everyone's moving house at the minute. I've got final round of rookie round, then Europe Series evaluation. Pack the rig away, move, and then get it unpacked in time for the next eval. That is a way to do it. Graham admits that Capri-Sun is another level of hardcore. Yes, it is. Hiker, let's go. D-Stack says, for heating, boot up Microsoft Flight Sim. Your GPU will do the best. Yes. Bo Lamberts has lost in TFT. I don't know what TFT is. No, I don't know. So now full focus on the race for you. Chance of rain at 30 minutes. Well spotted, Mr. Dave. Is there a chance it can rain before? Well, it could. They're not always 100% accurate. I'm guessing that's somewhere between 10 minutes and 30 minutes. But yeah, that could be exactly what we're looking for towards the end of this race. It's a 25-minute race. We've got two 25-minuters tonight. So it could just start to trickle before the end of this race. Who knows? Who knows? And you're absolutely right, Tim. It could get spicy. Good luck, everyone, says Mr. Beef. Send it, Hiker, says Ryan. Slip and slide, let's go, says Dave. And unfortunately, that looks to me like Hakan Andersen has not quite readied up. And he's back in the pits. So he will start from the pits, unfortunately, as the rest of them head off on their formation lap. D-Stack's rooting for Chaos. I don't think we've got a driver called Chaos, so I assume that you are actually hoping for some on-track chaos, which is not very nice, but I can almost guarantee that there will be some at some point, sometime tonight. So, they head off on their formation lap. I'm going to crack open my Capri-Sun, and you guys get to see the epic GT4 intro video from Ben22 Racing. It's Tuesday night. Welcome to the SimRace247.com British GT4 series with their partners HyperX. With thanks to simracing.gp, pitwall.live, Caden Computers, and of course sim-stuff.com. This is round 5 of the GT4 series, live from Snetterton this evening. My name's Adam D, and I will be bringing you your coverage of both races this evening. We always manage to get some great action from these guys in GT4, and I'm sure that tonight will be no different. And D-Stack, you are absolutely right. That intro is cool. It is. The man is not only good at the intro videos, but the man is also good at the liveries. So don't forget to head over to ben22racing.com, where he can hook you up with your liveries these days for a very small amount of pennies. Yeah, Ryan's enjoying the bass on the intro. Yeah, it's all good. All good. So, they are coming through the bomb hole now. I got it right that time. And any moment now, they're going to start heading into double file because it is almost go time. Turns 1 and 2 at Snetterton can be a bit tricky. Turn 1, if you take it too close on the inside, there's a horrible bump right there. That could cause some issues, and then turn 2 is heavy braking into a very tight hairpin. So if we manage to get through those two corners without too much carnage, then we're doing really well tonight. Only 18 drivers tonight, so you know, hopefully that will help. But it's Ian Hall from Ben Brown, and then Dave Zielecki is at the front of your grid, and like we say, Hakan Andersen back in the pits. But we will get the green light anytime soon, and we will flick through the field on heli-view so that you can see what's going on, and then we'll pick the action up back at the front. For now, listen out for the green light.
Green light, give it all you got.
And there it is. So Ian Hall makes a pretty good start by the looks of it, and Ben just dropping back a bit, slotting in behind. Johnny going around the outside of Andy Hearn. I think that is in turn 1, but it looks like through turn 1 we're doing okay. That's back up at the front, and we have got some movers and shakers in the field, but it looks like we're getting through pretty safely at the moment. So good job, everyone. It looks like we have lost Hakan Andersen now, which is a real shame. Joining the action at the front, Ian Hall has a good, strong lead right now over his championship rival, Ben Brown. That looks like Dave Zielecki in 3rd. And then Andy Thorpe remains in 4th. So no real changes from the grid so far. But just great to see that everyone has got away well. And it looks like ne pas de carnage. So let's hope that there's nothing under the bridge, as D-Stack predicts, into what I think is called Brundle, that corner. But Ben looking pretty racy, getting a bit close to the back of Ian Hall at this moment in time. I think Heisenberg there leading this pack in the middle. That's Marek Chittil right on the back of Andy Thorpe. Through the tough right-hander now. Just keep an eye on the field in the background and check that they're all getting through okay. Looks okay at the moment, so well done, everyone. Looks like a really nice, clean lap. Oh, and Hakan Andersen has joined us, so we haven't lost him. But he's a fair distance back on the rest of the field. Meanwhile, the front 3 all close together, pretty much within a second. I don't know which car is going to be the quickest in a straight line. Probably the BMW at the moment. And there are a couple of straights here at Snetterton where you can stretch your legs. Ian Hall runs out a little wide. That'll just give Ben a bit of a feeling that he can go with Ian. Now, don't forget, these two were separated by just 82 thousandths of a second in qualifying. So their pace is pretty similar. And they were trading fastest times through qualifying, so this could be a real ding-dong battle all the way through tonight. Checking back in with the pack a little bit further down. We've got action all the way through. Dan Hyde, who started towards the back, has got himself up into 13th already. Looks like Johnny Ashley's had a bit of an issue. He has dropped back to 16th after what was actually a pretty decent qualifying session for him. So Ian and Ben leading us round still. And Ian in that Pinky 87 X-Kart BMW does just look to have gapped Ben by a tenth or so through the middle sector. I think Ben starts to bring some of it back through this final sector. But actually at the moment, he needs to be looking more in his mirrors at Dave Zalecki rather than where the opportunities are to go forwards. Dave is hanging on valiantly to the front two right now. Ian into Murray's then. Out of there, and you see Ben has closed up again through the final couple of corners. That Aston is obviously pretty strong back there. Checking back in with Dan Hyde, who's got himself up to 12th now. So I think somebody might have had a moment in there and has dropped back. We see Andy Hearn has dropped back to 17th. So I don't know whether it was him who had an issue. Willie Black having a good night once again. He's up in second in his class. That is 8th overall. So he had a good night in his class at the World Series on Sunday at Laguna Seca. And looking to repeat that form tonight. Yeah, I know, D-Stack. Incredibly clean opening lap. Yeah, not entirely sure what happened there, but yeah, I guess we can all live and learn from these lot. If they've done it well to start us off. Dave Zalecki now right with Ben Brown, putting some pressure on. Ben just coming back at Ian a little bit. Just keep an eye on that weather at the top, because you'll notice top right hand side of your screen there is the weather predictor. And that can chop and change. So at the beginning of the race it said a potential for rain after 30 minutes. It's only a 25-minute race, but it could have still come in before the end of the race. That now seems to have disappeared. But that does happen, where it disappears and then it reappears and then it happens. So just keep an eye on the forecaster in the top right hand corner of your screen. So that's your front three. That is Ben Brown in second. So he has closed the gap up once again to about 5/10. It seems like the second half of the lap he is quicker than Ian. Ian seems to have the legs over the first half of the lap though. So let's see whether Ben can begin to change that a little bit. Go check in with the boss. Yeah, he's got some damage. So he's obviously had some nudges somewhere. But Johnny Ashley is 15th now, so he's picked up one place, I think at the expense of Heike van der Veen. And it looks to me like Andy Hearn now trying to find a way past Heike as well. But not quite close enough this time around. So we see Heisenberg Knox running a bit wide, and I think he's lost a couple of places in all of that. And it looks like Dan Hyde is now trying to make a move as well. So both Dan and Heisenberg now into this much tighter left-hander. That's a send from Dan. He likes a late braking manoeuvre, and he gets it done. So Mr. Hyde moves up into 12th past Heisenberg. Knox drops down to 13th. Now has Eric Sarek right on his backside. Good move, Mr. Hyde. Nice to see it. Back up at the front. Just under 7/10 your gap. They come through the end of Sector 2 and into this tricky Sector 3. Swinging right now and dipping through the bomb hole. Now taking this long right-hander that absolutely eats up your left side tyres. Touch of the dirt from Ian Hall, so that might just give Ben a whiff of being a bit closer. This is the view back from Ian's rear wing. And gap is about 0.5 of a second, as it has been for a long time now when they cross the line. So in terms of pace, their last laps were separated by 20 thousandths of a second. These two running a pretty equal pace right now. Check in a little further back. Heisenberg Knox closing back up on Dan Hyde, looking to retake that position. He's got some damage on that. Whoa, and there's that bump I was telling you about on the inside curb at turn 1. Heisenberg launches the Audi up into the air, but gets away with it. He's a lot closer to Dan Hyde right now. This is the view back from the Casual Apex car of Dan Hyde. Oh, Heisenberg getting a little bit squirrely into the left-hander there. Back up at the front, and Ben Brown is probably the closest he has been all race, you know. That is not 0.4 of a second, that gap anymore. That's more like 3, I should imagine. Maybe even less. We'll see in a second. They're about to cross through. Yeah, there we go. It's just over 0.3. And they've both just dropped Dave a little at the moment, but Dave's still 2 seconds behind Ben. Not a huge gap. We will go check on Petr Jelinek and Grant Eckett in a second. Just want to see these two across the line and see whether there's anything doing this time around. Now, see, look, check the weather forecast again. Rain in 10 minutes. We've got 15 minutes left of this race. We could get a slippery finish here at Snetterton. But look at that. Ben Brown still 0.5 behind. The lap times were separated by 47 thousandths of a second last time. Absolutely ridiculous. I think Grant Eckett has got past Petr Jelinek. You've seen him go around the outside into T1. We're going to pick up a replay of that in just a moment. So let's, in fact, go now and see that replay. This is Grant Eckett's McLaren. And he gets a better run out of Murray's and across the strike. So a little bit of extra straight line speed in that McLaren, as well as a better drive out the final corner. And he's pretty much passed before they get to T1, and then completes the move, sweeping around the outside. And Petr Jelinek letting that one happen as well. Good driving from the pair of them. Nice racing. And now Grant looking to get right up behind Marek Chittil as well. So in here somewhere is Dan Hyde and Stefan Locker. Ah, that's why we couldn't see Dan Hyde. He's off the track. In fact, we've got 3 cars off the track there. So what is going on here all of a sudden? We've got another car off the track there as well. Let's go pick up a replay with Dan. So Casey Gould in front of him, I think that is. And then Dan Hyde in the white, blue and red car. Oh, so Dan unfortunately hits Casey from behind. And Stefan Locker goes off in sympathy. Oh, it's a big hit for Stefan. Heisenberg Knox and Andy Hearn squeeze through as well. Now, so Heisenberg has dropped back a few more places. Just wondering whether it's starting to spit out there. I don't know whether it is. I don't think it is. Let's go on board with our race leader. No, looks dry at the moment still. Now, Willie Black and Cameron Hawes right together. So that is Cameron in the Mercedes. Now, this is a tricky place to try and go side by side. So Cameron tries the old switcheroo instead. Gets out of that one. Doesn't want to hit the league admin. That wouldn't be a good move on your first race of the series. If I can get my words out. Cameron then getting a bit twitchy out the left-hander. It's just dropped back ever so slightly from Willie. But that Mercedes, when you get it in the right zone, is an absolute weapon in GT4. my absolute favourite car in this game. Both GT4 and GT3. I love that car. It just suits me down to the ground. And it seems that Cameron is getting on alright with him. So he's got the rear end twitching around a little bit, but that's okay. Because he's probably set it up in such a way that means he has got a better front end on it. Stefan Locker, I think, having a really tough night. He's in the barrier again. And that Alpine looks pretty terminal to me. He's got it going again. So Casey Gould is... Oh, hang on a minute. That was Ian Hall running very, 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 very wide. And Ben Brown has suddenly got a bit of a run at him across the line. Luckily for Ian, that BMW is quick in a straight line, but the gap down to 0.3 of a second, and that's the lowest it's been across the line. Just goes to show what a small mistake out of that final corner can do. We are looking from his rear wing backwards at Ben Brown now. So these two battling for the championship. That BMW struggling now. And Ben right with him. But this is for the overall lead. So we're going to stick with this for a moment. Still no windscreen wipers, so I don't think it's raining out there. I don't think that's why things are changing. But the cloud cover is rolling in. 10 minutes left of this race. We could yet see some rain before the end. This is the view from second place, looking forwards at your leader. I thought Ben was going to outbrake himself then into the back of Ian. But all is good. Ben with the aggressive downshift to try and get the front end tucked in as much as possible and give him the best run out onto the back straight. This Aston Martin looking pretty good at this phase of the race. And Ian's struggling. So I don't know whether Ian's tyres are starting to go off or whether he's just struggling a little bit at this phase of the race. Maybe suffering a bit of graining on the tyres, don't know. But that BMW all of a sudden looks an absolute handful pretty much everywhere. Ben will see that. Ben will get encouraged. And Ben is as close as he has been all race to our race leader. That's going to be about 0.2 of a second, I reckon, the gap across the line. It's exactly 0.3. As I get that one wrong, but not by much. And Ian really, really having to hang on at the moment. He had started to move right away from Ben. But Ben just coming back at him over the last couple of laps. Ian just trying to settle himself down. And here's the rain. It is raining, and that is not a small amount of rain. That is coming down quite hard. So the question is, are these guys going to need to pit for wets with 8 minutes left, or are they going to try and hold on to the dries? If you remember the World Series race at Alton Park, where it rained late on, some of the GT3 guys decided to stay out on dries and it didn't work out. Now I know GT4s are very different, and actually the wet tyres on GT4s are not very good unless it is full wet. So at the moment the dries are still the best thing to be on, but that track has changed very quickly in the top right hand side from optimum to fast to green to greasy. It's gone through those stages in a flash. So any moment now that's going to switch to damp, I think, and then when it goes to damp, you're right on the line as to which tyres you want on this car. Andy Thorpe a lot closer to Marek Chittil. We'll start to see some action throughout the field now, I think, but neither of our leaders pit this time around. I wonder if I was kind of on my own in this race, Not really fighting anyone at the moment, looking for a random result. I'd probably dive in and stick a set of wets on, because this is not going to stop before the end of the race, and he's only going to get heavier. I think it is very much worth a gamble if you are a bit stuck yourself. Now, Johnny is up to 12th. Hakan Andersen has got himself up to 13th. That's some good going, considering he started in the pits and not even started at the same time as everyone else. So the track does seem to have stabilised at greasy, but I think that's going to change to damp very, very, very quickly now. Hakan Andersen does pit, so I think Hakan has taken the gamble and will change on to wets. What these cars could really do with is an intermediate tyre right now, but there isn't such a thing. It's just dries or wets, and there you go. Track is now showing us damp, and I don't think it will be long before it switches to wet. But Ben, a lot closer to Ian Hall. Maybe that Aston Martin just hanging on in this weather a little better than the BMW at this moment in time. Yeah, and the rain is getting worse, and Ben is off track on the inside. Ian ran off wide on the outside. It's getting tricky out there. So I just wonder if anyone else is going to take a gamble. I think these leaders will probably just follow each other. So Ben's just going to do what Ian does, I think. So if Ian goes in, I expect Ben to go with him. And neither of them go in. Look, so our two leaders stay out on this increasingly damp track on their dry tyres. As you see Dave Zalecki spinning in the background in the Mercedes. This one, a real battle up at the front. I'm sure there's plenty going on throughout the field, but this has championship implications. So we're going to stick with this one at the moment. Ben trying his best to get past the BMW, but just can't quite find a way at the moment as Andy Thorpe takes to the pits. So I think Andy, who's pretty low down in the pro class this evening, has just said, right, no, I'm going to stick a set of wets on and see what it does for me. Yep, it's now heavy rain. You're absolutely right, Will. I think the optimum moment to pit has gone. Ian Hall runs wide, and that is a change of lead. So that is Ben Brown through into the lead. Ian Hall drops it on the outside of the hairpin, and we have a change of race lead. Ben Brown to the point. I would imagine Ian may jump into the pits this time around. We've got gaps generating all over the field at the minute, and we try and keep an eye on those that have pitted as well. So Andy Thorpe has pitted and is back out. So he comes out behind Heisenberg, Knox, and ahead of Stefan Locker. So hasn't really lost any positions in his class. He has overall, but points are not overall. The points are in your class, so it was worth the risk. And all it takes is for some of the... And the track is now full wet. It is full wet. Grant Eckett right up to the back of Marek Chittil. 3 minutes left, so what do? Do you stay out? Do you jump in? Maybe staying out was the right call. 3 minutes is not a long time to try and hold on, but all it takes is one spin, one off into a wall, and it is game over. Chittil holds on through the final corner. So I don't think anyone else is pitting now. I think you're now at the point where it would be the wrong time to pit because you haven't got enough time to benefit from it. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Ryan. This does have some overtones of Lando Norris at Sochi. Oh, the pain, absolute pain. Now, Heisenberg has got himself up ahead of Johnny Ashley now. I don't think the big old brutish NASCAR that Johnny's got is the car that I would want in this weather. But what we're looking at here is the battle for 3rd overall. Marek Chittil is leading the silver class. Grant Eckert is 3rd in the pro class, but this is a battle for 3rd on track. Look at that. Dan Hyde is up to 10th overall. Despite not putting a qualifying time in. Seems to have had a nice, sensible race. Now, Andy Thorpe, one of the drivers who has pitted. He's now within 12 seconds of Johnny Ashley. So we'll see whether he closes that time by much. This is your battle for 3rd on track. And if I were Marek Chittil, I would have let Grant go. You're in different classes here, and you don't want to risk an incident that could cost you your silver class win. Right, Ben heading across the line for what will be the final lap then. So here we go. Let's go check in with... Oh, so Johnny did have Heisenberg right with him, but Heisenberg be no there no more. So I don't know what's happened to him. There he is in the background, so he must have had a bit of a moment. Actually, Andy Thorpe hasn't closed in on the guys in front of him as much as I expected him to, despite him having the full wet tyres on. Oh, yes, he has. Yes, he has. He's just gone from 10 seconds behind to 4 seconds behind in one sector. So, yeah, that was quite some gain, but I don't think there's been enough time for him to really make the most of those wet tyres. So, actually, those who stayed out on dries, I think, probably did the right thing. The biggest loser from the wet weather, I think, was Dave Zalecki. His spin cost him 3rd. Not only overall, but in class as well. Let's pick up with Ben. Tricky stuff as the rain came down. But the Aston seemed a little bit better suited to it than the BMW. Chittil and Eckert still glued together. You can see Thorpe now right behind Heisenberg Knox. Sounds to me like Andy's got the old TC whacked right up as well. Don't blame him. This is your race leader. Heading through the final couple of corners. And Ben is going to take himself another win. And then we're going to go jump back to the Chittil-Eckert-Jelinek battle. But this is Ben Brown across the line. Well done, Ben. Another win this season.
The leader has finished the race.
It looks to me like Chittill's going to hold on to 3rd overall and take the silver class victory. Eckert holds on to 4th, and then Jelinek is 5th. Meanwhile, Andy Thorpe, who is on wet tyres, has closed right up on Heisenberg. More than 10 seconds he's closed up over the last lap. But some of these guys have done really well just to keep the cars on track. Of course, the big question is... Race 2. What will the weather be for race 2? We will find out shortly, but I don't think Andy's going to find a way past here, actually, after all that. He doesn't. No, Heisenberg holds on to 12th overall. Locker and Van der Veen together in a close battle still. That what's left of that Alpine anyway. But it looks to me like he's going to hold on for second in class. So Heisenberg Knox takes your win in AM. Second is Stefan Locker and third Heike van der Veen. So yeah, there is your result. As Stefan destroys one of the polystyrene blocks. So Ben Brown takes the win from Ian Hall, then Marek Chittil, Grant Eckett, Petr Jelinek, Dave Zalecki, Cameron Hawes, Willie Black, Andy Hearn, Dan Hyde, Johnny Ashley, Heisenberg Knox, Andy Thorpe, Stefan Locker, Heike van der Veen, Hakan Anderson, Eric Sarek and Casey Gould. Good stuff. Now, that was race 1. But if you want some good news, we've got another one to follow it in just a moment. Race 2 is coming up. And it is sunny, but momentarily the weather showed rain coming, but then that disappeared. So I think we're okay because it is very, very sunny out there right now. So I think race 2 is going to be sunny and warm and dry. There we go. And Andy, you're right. It was worth a try. I think I probably would have done the same myself, but I can understand why it didn't work out. But fair play to you for trying. And Heike, yeah, dries in the wet are sketchy. But it would have been a lot worse had that been a GT3 race. Trust me. But still, good driving from everyone. It wasn't absolute carnage in the rain on dry tyres. So just goes to show some really talented drivers out there showing what they can do. So if you're just joining us, you can, of course, join us in the Twitch chat as well. Unless, of course, you are watching this on replay on our YouTube channel. By the way, if you're watching us for the first time on Twitch, then please hit that follow button. And if you are watching us on YouTube and you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe, the like button, and of course the bell icon to be notified when new content is up. Our races tend to get uploaded to YouTube about 24 hours or between 24 and 48 hours after they're broadcast live here on Twitch. Always a good time to talk about what's coming up for the rest of the week as well.
30 seconds.
Thursday night this week, we have the final round of the very, very popular Sim Stuff Rookies season. That has been absolutely fantastic racing to watch. So really, really looking forward to the final race of the season in the Rookies. And what else we got going on? Oh, yes. Of course, this Sunday is the England versus Germany social event. It's a mixture of English cars and German cars, and racing at a neutral venue, just to keep it fair. I think it's Zolder, if memory serves me correctly. But yeah, that'll be a good laugh. English cars versus German cars, Sunday night. That one's not broadcast. We don't tend to broadcast socials. We don't. We tend to sort of let that one be for people to enjoy themselves and not worry about being on stream too much. So yeah, that one won't be streamed on Sunday. And then yeah, all kinds of stuff going on as we head into next week. And trust me, you don't really want to go anywhere at the moment, because there could be big things about to happen in oNiD news. So it's worth just sticking around and watching out for announcements anytime soon. It could be anything. It could be new leagues, it could be new friends, it could be absolutely anything. But I can promise you, it's worth sticking around and keeping your ear close to the ground at this moment in time in the world of oNiD. Right now, we are getting ready for race 2. Sunny, dry all the way through, I think, this one. So I think Ian Hall might hang on this time around. I think that BMW was caught out towards the end of the race last time as the track got wetter and wetter and wetter. Probably wasn't the best car to have. But he had good pace in the dry. All comes down to the start though. See whether Ben can get the jump on him this time. Is it a new flavour Capri Sun? Oh, the announcement. No. They do a strawberry flavour Capri Sun. That would be nice. Only overseas, I'm reliably told. But maybe D-Stack. Just go check the fridge by the beach, see if there's any strawberry Capri Sun there. I don't know whether you have Capri Sun in America and Mexico, but yeah, it'll be worth it. Anyway, I'm rambling on when we're about to go racing again. Ian Hall leading us from the front. Ben Brown, then Dave Zalecki, Andy Thorpe, Grant Eckett, Marek Chittle and Hakan Anderson. Good to see that Hakan has made the start this time around, so Marek might have his work cut out a bit more with the silver class. But right now, you guys need to listen out for the green light, and that will be the cue for these guys to put their foot down.
Green light. Give it all you got.
And there it is, and Ben much closer to Ian Hall this time as the lights went green, but then couldn't stay with him. So just flicking back through the field, looks like we've got Heisenberg Knox on the grass, but apart from that, we seem to have got through fairly safely. What about the hairpin though? Yeah, doesn't look too bad at this moment in time. Dan Hyde side by side with car 24, Stefan Locker. But out front, Ian Hall leads once again from Ben Brown and Dave Zalecki. So they are line astern as they were this time last time around. So Eckett and Jelinek are pretty close together, although maybe Eckett has just broken away from Jelinek now. Oh no, there's Petter, and that is pretty close together. So that one worth keeping an eye on. Somebody in front kicks up some dust. Hakan Anderson has not had a good start and has dropped back to 10th. Johnny has had a great start and has got himself ahead of his arch rival Willie Black and up into 8th overall. That is second in class, so if Johnny can have a clean race from here, hold on to that one, then that would make him a very happy boy. But out front, Ian Hall from Ben Brown, and he has gapped Ben ever so slightly on this opening lap. As they come down into Murray's now. Ben a bit closer out the final corner. But Johnny versus Willie round 8,974. He's raging already. Willie within 3/10 of Johnny. Johnny's had a bump from the rear at some point by the looks of it, and one from the side as well. So even on a clean lap where he's got himself up through the field, there's still battle scars all over that Chevy. But that's Johnny for you. Robbins Racing. Johnny runs a bit wide, and Willie now looking to the inside. So Johnny's going to have to try something else to get back past Willie. He's going to go for the old switcheroo, but he's not close enough. He's got to be careful because he's got Håkan Andersson right behind him. And Andy Hearn right behind him. So this is a really good silver battle at this stage of the race. But Willie has just got away from Johnny ever so slightly in the couple of corners that followed the move. But Johnny just got out wide onto the dirt. You would have thought a big American brutey car like this would be used to the dirt. But apparently not. Marino 87, good evening. Welcome along. Good to see you back listening in. Johnny just struggling to keep it near the apex. I know that Johnny recently got new wheel and pedals and still really trying to settle into that at the moment. Guessing it can be a really big change actually, so lots to learn. But he's getting there. So we see Sarek and Locker locked in a battle. Sorry, that is Sarek and Heisenberg Knox locked in a battle. Dan Hyde's in there somewhere as well, just in front of them. Håkan Andersson now alongside Johnny. Oh, they both run deep. They both run very deep. And Håkan off track. So Håkan outbraked himself. Then Johnny outbraked himself even more. And Håkan really didn't have anywhere to go apart from the grass. And that's Hearn and Hawes, I think, getting sideways. And now here comes Andersson past. And we've got Gould and Hearn in the background as well. And now you see Johnny up the inside of Cameron Hawes. Hawes now holds on around the outside, but this is a great battle for third in class. And Hawes has gone from nowhere to third in class very, very quickly. It all kicked off in a short space of time as we see. I think that was Andy Hearn running a bit wide, and he has dropped behind Casey Gould now as well. The great battling in the silver class. And Johnny now has Håkan Andersson looking to make a move around the outside into Brundle. This would be a brave one. And Johnny says, no, you stay there, sir. But now needs to tuck back inside and have enough drive to keep Håkan behind him. Håkan goes with him. Johnny holds the line. And they hold position through the bomb hole. Different lines as they come through the sweeping right-hander. And Johnny has just gapped him ever so slightly. Let's go check back in at the front, as the gap is that. 0.3 of a second, so not a huge distance between them. And Dave Zalecki is a man on a mission this time around. He is the fastest out there at this moment in time. You see the purple on his number because he has the fastest lap of the race. It was done on the last lap with a 1:57.8, and that's a pretty strong pace. The two leaders are in the 58s right now, so Dave looking good to bring it to them a bit more this time around. Marino's cheering for the sole American entry. Casey Gould tonight. How did he fare in race 1? Well, I think I'm right in saying Casey was right towards the back. I think he was one of the few that tried pitting for wets when it started to rain in the last few minutes, and it didn't quite work out. But this is your front three in race 2. Hall, Brown, Zalecki, all right together. That group in silver shows very little sign of abating as well. We'll switch back to it in a minute, especially the Johnny versus Håkan versus Gould versus Hearn battle. In fact, let's go check in on that one right now as Andersson goes towards the outside again. So Johnny has to go defensive. We'll send the bollard spinning into orbit. Nobody needs that anymore. Check back in. Oh, Ian Hall's off. So Ian Hall, our race leader, is off at the final corner, and here comes Ben Brown and Dave Zielecki. So this is all 3 of 1, 2 and 3 right together, separated by about a quarter of a second. The 3 of them. But Ian Hall has somehow held on to the lead, but gets a punt from Ben Brown. Ben off into the grass. Ian Hall off as well, and that means that Dave Zielecki now takes the lead, but Andy Thorpe is going with him. But what is happening with Ben? Ben is way off track and struggling to get going again. It looks like there is some fairly severe damage to that one. Oh, there is massive damage to his Aston Martin, and this could be huge for the championship as that silver pack go round the outside of him. Ian Hall has got going, but Ben Brown, I think, is going to have to do a return to garage there. He has done indeed, and this is our new race leader, Dave Zielecki. So Zielecki leads now by 0.6 of a second from Andy Thorpe. Marek Chittle is 3rd again overall. Grant Eckett 4th. Petr Jelinek 5th. Willie Black 6th. Cameron Hawes is 7th. Ian Hall down to 8th. But he is 8th and scoring points. Ben Brown is 17th and scoring very, very little. And will need to get back out on track to score any. That could be the championship very much swinging in the direction of the BMW driver right now. So Dave Zielecki has a reasonable lead, just over a second. Andy Thorpe will now be thinking, hello, hang on a minute. I wonder what I can do from here. And he'd be right to think that. Hearn and Ashley pretty close together. Looks like Johnny's dropped down a couple of spaces and gets it up on 2 wheels. That was pretty spectacular from the car 48. Was he car 48? He's never car 48. But anyway, car 48 tonight. Getting up on 2 wheels. Andy Hearn has got through up into the top 10. Johnny, who at one moment was 2nd in class, is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th, 6th in class. And falling backwards a little bit. He's got Hakan Andersson right with him once again. But he's having some battles out there. So hopefully he's enjoying himself. Hakan just pushing slightly different line to Johnny through turn 1. They come down towards T2, the hairpin. Johnny runs a bit deep on exit, so Hakan tries to get the old switcheroo going. But Johnny gets the better drive off the corner. Johnny a little bit twitchy on the way into the corner, under braking. And somehow he's managed to get himself some damage up on his rear wing. Only Johnny could manage damage on the rear wing. But these two as close as coconuts right now. So are Chittle and Eckett, although Eckett has dropped back a little bit. So let's go back to Johnny and Hakan. Strikes me as a decent battle, this one. Mr. Sammy, our latest addition to the admin side of oNiD. Welcome to the stream tonight. And Mr. Mormon. Snetterton, nice. Yeah. It's given us some good racing already tonight. And we've still got 13 minutes of race 2 left to go. As we see Johnny defending like crazy from Hakan Andersson. I'm not sure if there was a touch in there or not, but Andersson comes off worse from it. But no harm, no foul, and they carry on as Johnny gets very sideways in that big old NASCAR. Ben Brown's still in the pits, so either that is game over for him, or maybe he's still fixing damage. That was a big hit that he suffered. Dave extending his lead out front to 1.4. And Sammy, yeah, I'm totally with you. Johnny's livery is a cracker. I've had a sneak peek of his new GT3 livery, and that one's even better. So stand by for that one. So halfway through this second race, 12.5 minutes to go. And these two continue their battle. Grant Eckett gets himself past Marek Chittle. Up into third overall. Still third in class. Didn't make any difference to his class position, nor that of Marek Chittle either. So this is the view from Hakan Andersson as he switches to the inside of Johnny. There is contact between the pair of them for the second time this race. Well, actually, I'm not sure if there was contact earlier, but they went side by side. Let's see if we can pick up a replay of what happened. So this is Ashley ahead of Andersson. So Andersson gets a better run out of the left-hander. They're coming up towards a much tighter left. Andersson looks to the inside. Johnny brakes a bit late, runs deep. Tries to then cut back inside, but Andersson's already there. And Andersson is off track. 2 into 1 did not go there. And poor old Hakan Andersson dropping down the order. So Dave Zalecki continues to lead. Andy Thorpe is bringing that gap down ever so slightly, and Eckett is bringing the gap down to Thorpe, and Chittle is not far behind Eckett. And actually Jelinek is not a ridiculous distance behind Chittle either. So the top 5 not hugely spread out. But Dave looks like we know he's got great pace from earlier on in the race. He did that 57.8. Interesting that it has clouded over a bit, but it doesn't look like we're going to get any rain towards the end of this one. The forecast is showing overcast to the end of the race. And just 10 minutes left to this one anyway, so I don't think this one's going to get disrupted too much by the weather. But this might be music to Dave Zalecki's ears. The fact that Eckett is getting closer and closer to Thorpe and might just start to distract him. Cameron Hawes and Willie Black pretty close together, and Hawes is off. But so's Willie. Willie follows him, and so does Ian Hall. It's that horrible thing of following the car in front of you and following their lines. Right, Ben Brown has got back out into the race. They're trying to pick up Locker and Sarek here because they're pretty close together, and this is for the lead of AM class. But Eckett even closer to Thorpe now, so let's go back to this one. This is your battle for second overall. Andy Thorpe from Grant Eckett at the moment. That one getting closer and closer and closer. As is the Hawes and Black battle. Now, having said that, Ian Hall gets himself past Willie Black. Now, I think, knowing Willie, that was Willie letting Ian go. Different classes. Probably did that down the straights just to now tuck in behind Ian and see if he can follow Ian past Cameron. Ian will have the pace over Cameron. But if I were Cameron, I would fight that one pretty hard, because you don't want Willie Black right up behind you once again. So, I think Cameron will probably fight that one. Hold Ian in place. But Willie will be hoping that Ian puts a move on him, gets through, and he can follow through himself. Not like that, hopefully. Mr. Marquez with the old exclamation mark Johnny in chat. Which brings up the, if you're not sure whose fault it was probably Johnny's, and very apt. You can also do exclamation mark dive bomb to hear all about Jimbo Manti. And indeed, I believe they chucked in an exclamation mark peg leg as well. So Ian still looking for a way past Cameron then. 7 minutes left. Thorpe and Eckett is still... Oh, Eckett into second look. Side by side, coming down into T1. And he gets the move done. Past Thorpe. Has Eckett got the pace to chase after Dave now? 2.7 the gap. Let's keep an eye on that gap. Dave pulled a second on those two on the last lap, but some of that could have been through Eckett battling with Thorpe, of course. That's always going to slow you down. But keep an eye on that gap, that 2.7 between first and second. Let's get our first update on it now. It's 2.8, so it has gone up ever so slightly. But just keep an eye on that in case Grant can do something about Dave's lead. Although Andy Thorpe's still within just a couple of tenths of Eckett, and we'll be looking to see if he can make a move there. Now, Ian Hall is much, much closer to Cameron Hawes right now. And maybe Cameron might be thinking that on a straight, there might be enough of a gap now to let Ian go and still be a long distance ahead of Willie Black, because Willie's dropped back 2.5 seconds off the back of these two, and actually more into the clutches of Casey Gould now. So maybe Cameron might just want to let Ian go. Two different classes. They can race if they want, but they don't have to. It won't affect their points. The gap out front is actually just over 3 seconds now, so I think Dave has got the pace to hold on to that one. Second, third and fourth are all pretty close together. We'll go check in on that one in a minute. Just want to see how these guys get on across the start-finish line. Once again, I think if I were Cameron, I'd be letting Ian go here, and maybe that's what he's doing. Well, Ian to the outside, and no, Cameron is not letting him go. He's fighting that one. Ian switches back to the inside for the hairpin. Cameron's still fighting that one. Starts to cost him time. He could end up regretting that if it means that the likes of Black and Gould and Hearn can start to close on him. Because you'd have to say this is just a matter of time, really, for Ian to get through. It looks like Cameron determined to fight this one all the way. So Thorpe has now dropped to second behind Eckett. Chittle's still with him, but not really closing too much. We'll keep an eye on Dan Hyde closing on Johnny Ashley as well. And also on Eric Sarek behind Andy Hearn. But in terms of battles for position, probably that Hyde and Ashley one that we want to keep on the gap, keep an eye on the gap on. Although, look at the gap out front; it's down to 1.8. So Eckett's absolutely flying at the moment. Yeah, Dave not having a great lap, and Grant having his best lap of the race so far. I'll tell you the lap times when they cross the line. So Dave is really struggling all of a sudden, I think. And this is the battle for the lead then. Dave puts in a 201.2. Grant Eckett does a 158.5. And that is your two leaders. Nose to tail now. So Eckett has had a phenomenal race. Dave Zalecki was holding on to the two leaders early on, and then stayed with it when those two had their moments. As we switch now to a battle in silver between Johnny Ashley and Dan Hyde. Dan getting closer and closer in that Ginetta. And, I wasn't sure what was going on there, but looks like they've both survived. That looked like a hairy moment. Back out to the front then. And yeah, I think Dave must have had a big moment on that previous lap. 2 minutes to go then. Can Dave Zielecki hold on from Grant Eckett, who has thundered his way through the field? Or is there another chapter to be written in this one? Hawes still holding on from Ian Hall. You see there in 6th and 7th. Ashley still ahead of Hyde. And Sarek still holding on from Hearn and Anderson. Where is Anderson? He's right there. Hall has now finally got past Cameron Hawes. Cameron trying to go back up the inside though. Oh, not sure he's quite realised that these two are racing in different classes. And this is our championship leader as well being interfered with by Cameron now. So I'm sure they're both enjoying the battle, but this is multi-class racing. And there is contact between the pair of them. They both get away with it, but it's just one of those very, very unnecessary moments. But this is a necessary moment. That is Grant Eckett looking for a way past Dave Zielecki. He put the move in, wasn't quite close enough. It was a bit of a lunge from far back. It might have cost him the chance now because he's dropped back a few tenths. But he'll go again. This is the final lap of this race. Grant really, really diving to the inside of every corner just to let Dave know he's there. He gets sideways out of the left-hander. But I wonder if he's just dropped back a little bit too far right now. Oh, Dave now sideways. So Eckett pushing hard. We've also got Ashley and Hyde almost side by side. But back to the front. And Dave's squirrely moment there has not cost him too dearly. But Eckett trying to find a way through towards the end of this race. That McLaren very quick in a straight line. If they come out of the final corner pretty much together, then Eckett might just find a way of taking this one. 2 tenths the gap. This is a great final lap between these two. This is the final lap of the second race here at Snetterton. And Zielecki trying to hold on for his first win of the season. Eckett trying to steal it off him right at the end. Dave through the final corner and so's Eckett. I think that one is done. Yeah, Dave Zielecki will hold on to this one and take his first win of the season. Well done, Dave. Grant Eckett with a great second place. Marek Chittle will take his another win in silver. Switching now to Ashley and Hyde. For them to come to the flag as Thorpe and Jelinek finish. Ian Hall will be next across the line. Shame for him after his incident with Ben earlier on. Now these two are going to be close across the line, I think. But Johnny hit the sausage. But Dan ran out wide. But getting the toe, it's going to be close. But Johnny holds on by 1/10 of a second. Hearn and Anderson pretty close together across the line as well. But there was 3 tenths in that in the end. And let's see if we can pick up your AM winner. Yes, there he is. It's Eric Sarek across the line. Locker finishes second in AM, and it will be Knox and Van der Veen after that. Oh, tries to do the donuts and doesn't notice that there's another car there on the inside. Good job. So let's see if we can pick up some drivers in the comms pod. So Ben and Dave, can you join comms pod? There are 2 overall winners from tonight, so we'll grab a quick word with the pair of them. If they're around to join us, of course. We'll see any moment whether they do, but some good racing once again here in the GT4 series with oNiD. Thanks once again to simrace247.com for their support with this series. Now, it's distinctly possible that Ben isn't quite prepared to jump in here after that race. We'll see. But we were just trying to pick up with our two winners.
Green light. Go, go, go.
Well, here's one of them, Mr. Zalecki. What a finish to that race that was.
Yeah, that was tough. Beckett was right on me. Yeah, just feel a little bit bad because it might have been my fault that Ben got sent into a wall.
Might have been.
Have I invited the wrong two people into a chat
Yes.
right now? Well,
Yeah,
obviously, I just want to talk about the two wins. Ben, race 1, the Aston looked a lot better when it got wet compared to Ian, and unfortunately, Ian slipped a bit wide and you jumped through. But that was a good win because you were closing in on him even when it was dry.
Yeah, I think my pace. I probably had the pace in race pace. He definitely had the 1 lap pace on me, but I had the race pace. And then it rained, and I just kind of sat behind and waited for the mistake. Really, just took it easy, and the Aston's pretty good in the wet. We saw that at Silverstone. So,
and then I suppose just tell us a little bit about race 2 because it was. It was a good battle, and then things went a little bit wrong.
I I did quite a nice dummy on the last corner, and Ian obviously got caught in his mirrors and ran off. But I also didn't get the best exit, and then obviously Dave was on the back of us going down the straight, and I managed to just about get it stopped before I tapped the back of Ian, but then I got a little helping hand and found the wall quite at a rate of knots. So that was it really.
Yeah, difficult one. But the win in race 1 must have been very welcome, and we'll see what you can do in the last round next week.
I'm not sure what the points are. I need to go and work that one out.
Yeah,
I think it was going to be pretty close. I think there was 2 points between us, so.
Yeah.
Might be even closer, I'm not sure.
Yeah, and of course it was important that you got back out after fixing the damage so that you could still retain some points from the second race as well. So
yes,
yeah, that will
as many expletives that were coming out of my mouth at the time. Yes, it had to go back out.
Yep, it's a lesson for everyone really. Get back out there and finish your race.
Thankfully, Ian only finished 1 place in front of you, so
yeah, I did
2 points.
Yeah, I don't know if he hit anything or something, but I don't know. He just couldn't get past the traffic, could he? After having that moment, so
he had a tough time trying to get past Cameron Hawes, yeah, even when he did get past, there was some attempts to repass from Cameron. So yeah, interesting interclass battling that one, but it made for some good streaming. And Dave, obviously, you know, part of you must be feeling a bit gutted about what happened with the 2 leaders earlier on in the race. But if we just focus on the last few laps, was there a mistake a few laps from the end that brought Grant suddenly up behind you, or
yeah,
or what?
I struggle to not push as hard as I possibly can every single lap, and my tyres like to feel that. Yeah, they like to just disintegrate a lot faster than probably other people's do, because I just don't know how to not drive as fast as I can. I just throw it through everything. So I think towards the end, my tyres and probably the pressure would just get into me, and yeah, just slowly getting slower and slower, sort of thing.
And there was one moment on the final lap where you ran a bit wide and then got a bit squirrely before you got onto the back straight. Or the middle straight, I should call it, I suppose. But then he did exactly the same thing, and you just about got away with that one.
Yep. Yeah, he was right behind me right up to the end, so it was well played from him.
Jimbo Manti in chat with ! Dave Bomb.
That's
Very
not
good.
a dive bomb if you drive through the person in front of you.
No, I suppose not. But
yeah, that was good. Just hopefully Well, I know the weather won't change, but I think Willie likes to think that we get weather like the Bahamas in the UK, because it was ridiculously hot once again.
29 degrees and overcast around Snetterton
Yeah.
was a bit strange for the start of race one, but that rain sort of threw a bit of something in the mix. What about you two? Did you consider pitting? So I saw Dave, you actually dropped it out the final corner.
Oh yeah, I was struggling really badly, and as soon as I'd sent it off the back of the last corner, that was it. I sort of lost my focus and was just trying to keep it on the track.
Yeah.
There was one point where I did consider, but I just looked at it and I thought, got 30 seconds plus pit entry and exit. Am I going to lose that over the next 3 or 4 laps? Probably, but because it'll be so close, I just didn't bother. Thought I'd just keep out there and see if other people do that, and if other people make mistakes, then you can capitalise on that.
And I assume for you, Ben, it was pretty much do what Ian does, right?
No, if Ian had pitted, I'd have still stayed out.
Oh, would you? Okay.
Yeah, I'd kind of told myself in my head that if it rained anywhere past 15 minutes to go, I'd just stay out, however wet it got.
Yeah.
So the GT4 is not too bad on the dries. It's not great, but it's not like the difference between GT3 and GT in wet and dry.
Yeah.
I knew that after we've had this conversation before, where I did a wet race in the dries at Monza, if you remember, and it wasn't quite as wet as that, but it was.
We have, because it wasn't so long after I did a wet race in the dries at Zandvoort, and it didn't work out for me.
Yeah, it didn't work out that time, but yeah, I knew that the Aston's grip's fairly good, and if I can do it in the BMW, I can do it in the Aston. So, and like Dave said, it takes so long to pit. Like, it's quite a long pit lane.
Yep.
So
yeah, it's a long pit lane, and it's along a fast straight. So
yeah, exactly.
Everyone else is bombing along at full speed. Well, chaps, thanks for joining us as the 2 race winners tonight. It kind of leaves me to just finish things off here for you guys on the stream. As always, thank you for joining us and watching along. Been a great number of you chatting away throughout the evening, which, especially when riding solo like tonight, really helps to keep stuff going. If you've not done it before, then hit the follow button and become part of that oNiD family. And of course, you can join us on Discord as well. All of the information on onidracing.com. But for now, it just leaves me to say thank you to simrace247.com and their partners HyperX for supporting this series. The next stream will be Thursday night with the final round of the Rookies series. So come join me for that one right here on oNiD Racing's Twitch series. But for now, thank you very much.